So that's basically, the model, what the model tells us. So now we can do another way that reduce it, but I think, we are fine with this one. And we may do another one to look at another control files instead, okay? So let's see, exercise 5 is reduce or increase the net settling to the sediment. This one also in the same control files or parameter varying files as the exercise 4. I just show you how to do it, but I think we just skip it because it's the same control files. So let's go there. And okay, now we are here. We need to go one step up, one folder up here. We go to the input. Oh, is it the same file or not? Oh no, it's not the same file. Okay, let's do it. No, I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we just do the fifth. The fifth, you need to touch the files WQM BFI. The other one almost the same, but BFI. So in that case, I just do this time. We do we keep the basic keys BWI, right? This one, huh? This one. I just keep the initial or the base keys, so we kind of safe. If we do some mistake, we just can easily come back. Now open it. So here there's a lot of things. Look at the exercise. It said number 65. Number 65 is here.
Quick question if I can. Are we in the sediment flux file? Is that where we're at?
Yeah. I think, the Carl can tell us more. I think that's what we do, is that the net settling represents some kind of resuspension kind.
Oh, this is the settling from the water to the sediment.
To the sediment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you actually make a distinction. So what we changed before was just the water column settling rates, and now we're changing effectively the deposition rates. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take 10 seconds.
Sure.
Okay. So the settling file, the WSL, the WSA labile, the WS refractory, this is the settling through the water column. And let's say that was about 1 meter per day. Now, we want settling into the sediments. Okay. It could be 1 per day, but typically what happens is in sediments is resuspension. So in the water quality model, we don't have resuspension of organic matter in the water quality model. One day it gets there. But what we do is we make this, this is called WS net. It is the net settling when you think about resuspension. Okay, so typically it's less than what settles through the water column. And order of magnitude we found is about 0.1 times WSL. It's about 10% of the settling through the water column. And if you remember, the numbers in the water column were around 1 or 2 from any of the variables. Here it's 0.1. So it's about 10%.
So, quick question. As you said, it's sort of resuspension. But that number, is that mainly driven by the tidal flats? Because I wouldn't think velocities may be that high in the deep channel. So is that?
In the present water quality model, that is actually a function of depth. And it is a small number in shallow water because we think about wave resuspension.
Yes.
And it's a higher number as we move down into great depths.
All right, so that number is then being scaled by depth?
Yeah.
So, but that's I'm surprised that you're that low, because especially if you're now, again, I can see it in the shoals, but I'm surprised what you're saying is in the deep channel that deposition is only 10% of the settling rate.
You know,
It
Jim,
just seems low.
I'm
but it works.
not going to say that because this is just kind of a
Oh, this is
toy.
the test model, all right.
So
Very good.
it's a toy. And I'd have to look at the
What it really is,
actual
okay.
inputs to the 50,000 cell model.
Fair enough.
So just for toy value, it's 10%.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So yeah, this we need to change these files, but just something just jump into my mind. This number, in fact, Dominic Dittora talked about the kind of mixing, solid mixing in the diagenesis model, because the diagenesis model is a lot of things here.
All right, so in this particular case, the V set is centimeters per year. So you're
That's a different, different.
7, okay. So
Yeah,
instead of
different
less,
thing.
you need
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
And what is VSET?
It's the burial.
Yeah.
It's what's coming,
Yeah.
being pushed to the bottom.
Yeah. So now we just do this exercise. We set also double the number.
And I'm sorry, and again, maybe this is a toy model. I would assume that V set ought to be about the same as the VS net times the overlying water column. Otherwise, you're burying stuff faster than it's coming in.
I wish you had told me that before.
Well, no, because I just see it now.
Yeah. The VSED really was based on observations of burials.
Right, yeah.
A long time ago, and I confess I haven't looked at it in a long
Okay.
time.
But conceptually, that
Yeah.
is sort of what you're saying.
I've forgotten that's a long time ago.
I could see it being smaller to allow a little bit for compaction, but you ought to, anyhow, and again, it's a joy model. But just so people are thinking this through, what we're saying is if I'm settling stuff into the water column, you take the 0.1, just let's say times your settling rate of 1, I would have essentially a net of 0.1. But I'm now burying things at 0.37, so I'm burying it faster than stuff's coming in principle, right? Unless the V set, I do think gets temperature corrected. So maybe that may be a good average for a year,
You
not
have to
sure.
ponder though, Jim, the solids concentration in the sediment model is fixed. It's something like so many kilogram per liter.
Yes,
So what you're burying is VSED times the solids concentration in that box.
no, but I'm thinking of the flux of organic matter. You're also you're burying the organic matter at 0.3. Oh, but this is centimeters per year, those are meters per day, so you got to work that number out. So you still may be okay. I apologize. I'm just.
What Jim is saying, and we're thinking on our feet and remembering old times, is that we shouldn't bury more material than we deposit. And what Jim has pointed out is I have not been careful about that at all, and I should have been, but I learned this 20 or 30 years ago, and I haven't been careful about it. And we're kind of going back and forth about exactly how to do that, and we haven't concluded exactly how to do that across the table this afternoon, but
But you're
we
okay,
want to be
because if you take
careful.
0.37 centimeters per year divided by 365 times 100, you're essentially taking a third, would get you back to what the water column's at, right? So you're okay, sorry. But
And in
it's
any event,
worthwhile
we
talking
want to
about
be
it.
careful and tune in later about how to do that, okay?
So the water column settling is also related to the biomass, and the particularly the matter.
Yes.
It's harder to directly compare the.
No, but what I was concerned about is if you're only,
Right.
if that was 0.37 meters per day,
Oh,
then you were settling it faster than what's coming in, that's all. But these centimeters per year
Right,
works
it's
out to be
different
a
units.
third, less than a third of that, so it is right.
Okay.
And for my information, the bottom layer thickness is fixed?
The
Yes.
thickness of the sediment layer is.
Yes, fixed. So if you're burying more than you get in, then if you are not in balance, then the density of the sediment layer changes.
If we actually computed that density, it would, but we don't. It's a fixed number. So, what we're doing well, I don't know how to put it exactly. We're probably bringing this thing to steady. If we were overestimating that, we'd be bringing this model to steady state much quicker than it really does, because we're burying stuff more rapidly than we're burying.
Under a hypothetical scenario, let's say you have sediment accumulated, then started burying. But let's say the overlying water column there's no organic matter at all. The model still runs.
What do you mean there's no organic matter? You mean
There's nothing
no algae
in the
or anything?
water, right? Nothing. I'm just
Yeah, well,
curious.
if what happened would be you'd eventually deplete the sediment because you
Right.
don't have any stuff coming in.
It's
You-
just
you
clean
creating
up the
that-
sediment.
Except for the G3, which
Right,
is such a
that's
slow,
still-
it would hang around for 100 years or so to true equilibrium, zero.
Okay, so this, I want to first mention two things. First, Carl told us that this number, okay, can't be higher than what we did. Do you remember? Because, yeah.
I'm sorry, one more. Hey, I just happen to notice that the format of this file is a little different than the other ones because you have an extra blank in there right after the comment, the header
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
Okay.
The other one, I think, kind of is the end, maybe, just relax. no blank. Maybe,
Yeah,
That's-
I don't know whether to blame Jim or Tom Cole. I mean, we got one.
It may in fact be a wrap if you just expand that window. It may, that
We'll do a
line
set,
may
set
go
no,
away.
colon set no wrap.
This is like
What?
Colon,
Huh?
colon,
Lost.
That's Senator
colon,
Combs.
space, set, S-E-T,
S-E-T, E-D?
T,
Yeah.
no, S-E-T, space, no wrap, N-O-W-R-A-P,
No wrap.
right?
Like this?
P, and then return.
Like this?
Return. Just return it. Right, so
I did
that's not the case.
Just to fix the format.
Okay.
No, I know, but I just
Yeah.
mentioned that
Ah.
for whatever reason, there's an extra comment line,
Good.
blank line. That's all.
Yeah, I learned something. No wrap.
Don't change the formats of the files.
No, it's constant at least.
Well,
And no, you can't blame me because I don't have the extra, I don't have the extra line in the code. But anyway.
the heritage, just because we're going to tell about old times. Dominic, I guess Dominic wrote this thing in something called MathCAD, which was sort of like MATLAB, only it was MathCAD. And then he gave MathCAD to Jim.
No, actually Dom wrote, finally, the standalone version was actually in Fortran.
It wasn't Fortran.
Yeah, yep.
In any event, we got it from HydroQual or HydroScience, whatever it was, back
Qual.
about 1990 or so. And that gentleman I mentioned yesterday, Tom Cole, implemented it in our model. So if there are some odd spaces in the formats and things like that, that's the way it is. Don't mess with it. That's all I can say.
Sorry for the diversion.
Yeah, poor Richard standing up there. What is going
No,
on?
that's
in my
fine.
lecture?
No, I have time to drink,
I will try and be quiet, sorry.
Okay, so
No,
we're gonna
that's-
double those things.
But yeah, and yeah, I think I'm kind of blaming you guys that we lost the time, and that's one my suggestion. Before I do my suggestion, I want to say two things. First, this represents resuspension kind of, right? And this number can't be higher than the other files. Okay, but fortunately here is not the case. The other one, do you remember, was the initial one, right? This is 10% only. So in this case, we can double it, double the number. I looked at it, basically it's about 10% of the other file number. Second, when we change the another number, another files, we kind of change, kind of units. It's 1 meter per day. Here we double, we just change it 10 centimeter. You can imagine already the effect. The effect is only 10%. That's what we saw in exercise 4, right? Because you change the sinking flux. So if you understand that, I would suggest now you know how to do it. We don't do it. We just do the exercise 6. You just change this number, and I do not expect a lot of difference between this one and the base case. Basically, you can know, you already know the kind of the result. I think it's just 10% of this change. Okay, you will have a change, but just 10% of this one. Right?
Well, for the base case, if you change that 0.1 to 0.2, you're effectively doubling the rate like you did in the water column settling, so you ought to get a result that's very, very similar to what you got there.
No, we have to change this is the other thing I want to mention. We have to change this one to the base case. I think we did something, right? Which one was this one, right? We changed this one, right? We can't change both, right? We can only change one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So we have to come back to the initial value. Basically, this is initial value.
This exercise, we should go back to the original values of the water column.
Yeah.
1 meter per day.
Yeah.
And we should effectively double or something the net sediment.
Basically, what I'm doing is return to the initial value. What I'm doing now, right? No. So if you want to do it, we just do it. I think what we can give a look at what really the impact. So here we just put 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.12. So we change it out.
So basically, this is going to reduce the concentration of those components in the lower layer.
Well, it's going to, yes, in effect, it'll settle them more rapidly into the
In the
sediment.
lower layer and work its way up some, but mainly in the lower layer.
Okay.